Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Friday. And this week is our Go-eCommerce Pocket Talk series 8, I believe. I think so. Cannot remember. We do so many series. Yes. So this is our Go-eCommerce Pocket Talk series number 8. And we have the privilege of bringing someone from UK. He flew back to UK to talk about how big is the Halal UK market over there. But before that, I also had the privilege to invite Hafiz from HDC. But before that, I want to launch the poll first. Let's launch it now. There's a poll there for you to play around. Just only one question, but there's 4 multiple choice for you all. Afternoon, Ismail. Afternoon, Nur Amin. Thanks for coming for Friday. I call it for us to learn, for me to bring more enablers for us to learn the ecosystem. And Rizwan later will help me on the Q&A section. And this Zoom session is recorded so that it will be published. Last Friday, when we did the Pulse ID on the Visa Marketplace, the editing is still ongoing. So Nick asked me to remove some words and here and there. So I haven't published that yet. So hopefully by Monday, I can publish it. Okay. Now, let's go for Hafiz. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I would like to invite Hafiz. He is the project lead for a platform called the Halal Integrated Platform by the Halal Development Corporation called HDC. So I invited him because they're going to launch this platform in coming September. And I will let Hafiz to tell you all what is it all about. How does it benefit for business owners who wants to dwell into the halal industry? Hafiz, hang on for a moment. Let me pin you. Add a pin, remove first, I add you as a pin. Okay, Hafiz, the floor is yours. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Carol. Let me first share my screen. All right, okay, now, I think today's session is quite unique because we practically, in a way, we're going to go through a journey of halal. So we started off with our home ground, which is Malaysia. And then we're going to continue with UK. So now, if you want to go into halal industry, HDC at the moment we are developing a platform called Halal Integrated Platform. So as per mentioned by Carol, we are going to launch this platform on the 9th of September. That is going to be a full-blown platform. But at the moment, we are opening this pre-registration for those people who interested with Halal Integrated Platform. Now, let me just share with you what is this HIP is all about. Okay. So practically HIP, I would imagine that it will be something like a shopping mall. I would love to actually take the analogy of shopping mall, where when you go into a platform or when you go into a shopping mall, you have a lot of shops. So you have food court, you have cinemas, you have retail store and whatnot. So now, why do I say that HIP is is actually a shopping mall? Is because it allows a user or a members, when they join the platform, to pick and choose what they need for their business. We are not looking at just a single way journey, but what we plan to do is actually to offer whatever opportunity that is available here in Malaysia and even globally to those companies or those members that want to venture into halal. Now, the objective of HIP is basically for us to facilitate and coordinate the growth of our SMEs. Of course, we want to groom them to become an exporter because the halal industry itself is big and there's a lot of gap in terms of suppliers, in terms of players in the industry. So hence that's the reason why we want to groom this company so that we can fill up this gap, not just locally but globally as well. Okay, what do we have? I'm just going to go through quickly. What do we have in HIP? Even though at the moment HIP is not fully yet live, but all these offerings are available. For example, right now we have a package that we work together with Bank Islam, where it's called Go Halal Fund. So that is actually for those company who want to who require financial facility for them to fund their halal certification program. Now, the HIP, in HIP, we are looking at the whole journey of halal, the pre-certification as well as post. So, that's the reason why when you look at the whole item that is available in HIP, we covers not just the certification, but we also offer e-marketplace, we offer business networking, we offer job talent matching, and then halal logistic support services. Those items that would support the business itself. So we are not just focusing on just the certification, because we understand that once you get the certificate, then what's next? So this is the part where we want to this is practically the shopping mall. You imagine that when you come in, you can pick and choose whatever that you need, whatever that you want. One thing that I would like to highlight here is that, of course, HDC itself, we can assist company to to establish their halal business. We have consultancy, we have training, we even have halal ingredient database for manufacturer who want to manufacture halal products. And then we do have halal parks, we have halal knowledge center and programs. And one thing that I would like to highlight here is that inside the HIP itself, we have programs like Go to Halal Market. So let me just share with you initiative that we created under HIP. Now, like I mentioned to you, one of it is actually funding facilitation. So these are the banks that are currently talking to us and willingly to develop a special package for our HIP members. So for example, if you want to go to UK, we have identified that CIMB is actually right now actively, looking at exporters that want to go to UK. So what we do is that we sit down with them and get them to develop a package that would help organization to fund their business so that they can start exporting their products to UK. Of course, other banks is looking at other countries as well. And then in terms of marketplace, we have identified a few countries. For example, of course, we need to establish one halal marketplace for Malaysia. So we are in the midst of developing it. We are in the midst of establishing it, but we will announce it soon. But the rest, we are also working closely with NDEC to identify suitable e-marketplace for India, China, Japan, Australia, and others. And of course, we are also looking at UK. So when I mention UK, just to share with you, we are in the midst of working with Halal Street UK, and we want them to become our sole e-marketplace provider in HIP that provide access to the UKs, right? So that's the reason why I said today is quite unique, because I'm talking about the journey here locally, and then I will pass it over to Simon to talk about, okay, once you are there, then what is there, right? Now, the other things that I would like to highlight is that for Go Halal Market, on top of all this, on top of the funding facilitation as well as the e-marketplace, we also have programs like supplier program to retail store. So we are currently working with all these retail store, and we want them to open the supplier application so that our members has the opportunity to become suppliers to the retail store. And then we do have program that focus on market expansion using a central kitchen and OEM facilities. And of course, when we have G2G collaboration, we have access to other overseas market as well. And then halal, the ingredient database, is another area that we want to expand, because we are not just looking at F&B, we are also looking at pharmaceutical as well as cosmetic. So once we have this database, it will be easier for us to promote the ingredients to companies that would like to procure supplies from Malaysia. And then we have Halal Incubation Project for Entrepreneurs. So this is practically a tool that will help our members to identify areas of improvement. And on top of that, we also expand our coverage to cover the talent pool, which is the talent pool of halal professional That means that, in order for you to operate as a halal company, or in order for you to produce a halal product, there is a requirement where you need to have at least one halal professional to be in your business, so that it can maintain your halal certificates. What do you call that? Uh, that is actually a requirement for halal, for you to maintain your halal certificates, right? And then, of course, we do also conduct business matching and networking. We have our own business directory at the moment. In HIP alone, we already have about 3,000 companies registered under us. So we foresee that once we launch, this business directory will be available for anyone who want to do a business networking straight away. Okay, and then finally, we are building, or we are developing, a procurement system, so that for those companies, for those enterprise organization who want to procure halal services. For example, recently we are talking about Tokyo Olympic, who are looking, or asking MDEC to find the caterer that can supply a halal products or halal catering to the event for their catering to Muslim athlete. So these are these are the services that will enable such thing to be done through online in HIP. So practically, this is just a snapshot of what we have and what are the things that are going to happen in HIP. And I believe that once we have launched, then there's a lot more things will come in. Now, the idea of HIP is that we want to host the halal ecosystem into one platform, and whoever the members that join the platform should be able to enjoy all these things, because these are the program that is specifically made for them to participate, because we want to grow them. All right. So basically, this is my last slide. So thank you, Carol, for giving me some airtime for me to share about what is HIP. So over to you, Carol. Thank you.
Thanks. And let's see if anybody has a question on HIP. More than happy for you all to ask at the Q&A. Yeah. So unshare. How do we contact you, Hafiz?
Oh, okay. Let me. I actually, there's another slide for me. Hang on. Let me just share back the screen.
Can.
So if you want to contact me, these are the contact details. You can just email to hip@hdc global. If there's any question, feel free to ask through the email. And if you want to register, feel free to scan the QR code and go ahead and register. So
Okay.
before the launching, we will contact you for you to set up your actual account.
Nazmi, tak boleh baca apa? Sorry, somebody else tak boleh baca. So if those of you can screenshot this so that you can scan the QR code. Kian,
maybe
go back to the Q&A. Go back to the Q&A. The contact.
I can share the link as well. I can share the link in the chat, so you guys
Yes.
can actually go to hip.hdcglobal.com.
Yep.
That's where you can actually go and register. Yeah.
Thank you, Aina. Thank you. Kian, you can ask the question at Q&A. Later we go back. I won't ask the Q&A now. Okay. I will collect it, and then after that ask Rizwan to queue for the Q&A later. Right.
Right.
Now we want to go to Simon. So this one you unshare. Okay. So thank you so much. Now, so we've done with that. Thank you, Hafiz, for sharing. So all of us here wish you all the best in your 9th of September HIP launching. Thank you, Nazmi, for the suggestion. May move the ad to the front and speaker to the back. We type HIP's email address. Thank you to Aina just now that put there. Okay. Now, can sing again. Go to the Q&A and ask, because we can't track the chats when it comes to a question. Go to the Q&A and type the questions there so that we collect it. Next next in line in the agenda, I would like to invite how I get to know halalstreet.co.uk. I believe it was 3 years ago. I can't remember because I've seen so many platforms, and this gentleman come through. I really thought that he was not Malaysian. I didn't know that Simon was a Malaysian. Okay, so he's a lawyer, and lawyers intimidate me. Seriously, when I was in London, lawyers do intimidate me. And the way he presented, and his knowledge on e-commerce was not there, but his knowledge on the halal market when it comes to B2C was what we at MDEC was looking for, even though not MDEC only, but also Matrade, because I know you and I, Simon, we know how big the Muslim community over in the UK. There's so many foreigners there that I know. We all know that. And he introduced us how did he and his team help some of the food and beverages, cosmetics. So he will share later on his case study and the success stories and how did he promote and did campaigns together with a very famous ambassador in Terengganu, a tourism ambassador in Terengganu. So I would like to add the pin now for Simon. Simon, welcome to the Go-eCommerce Pocket Talk series. Welcome in London time. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning to everyone.
Good morning. Okay.
Yeah, I can perfectly.
The floor is yours now. I will remove my pin and go ahead, Simon. Thank you.
Yes. Hi, Carol.
Share. There you go. Let me close this.
Okay, wonderful. So first, I'd like to say thank you very much, Carol. I think you are quite an amazing young lady that organizes so much for MDEC. You really put a face to a name and to an organization, and that's really important for me. I'm currently sitting in Wokingham in Berkshire, and many of you who have been in the UK will know this part of the world. It's close to Reading. It's a beautiful place. It's got rabbits and foxes and all sorts all over the place. Now, is the line clear for you, Carol? Am I clear?
Yes, you are. You are clear.
Okay, wonderful. So Halal Street. Halal Street started quite honestly, in theory, about over a decade ago. I was working as a lawyer in the UK, and a Muslim colleague came to me and was helping me at work, and I wanted to buy her some sweets for for her children. And we went to the local supermarket, and she said, no, I don't want to take the sweets. I go, no, it's for your children. Take them. I thought she'd say no 3 times. It's the typical polite pushback. No, absolutely not. She told me, no, it's not halal. Now, this is one of the largest supermarkets in the UK, and you cannot find halal sweets. And I said, if you can't find halal sweets, what else can't you find? And she took me and she showed me all the products that people, Muslim people in the UK were looking for. And it was incredible. And I looked around and there was no one selling it. And I realized how fortunate we were in Malaysia to have everything at our fingertips. And I thought to myself at that point in time, what can I do, for the Muslim community in the UK? And we started an early version of Halal Street. Now, as a lawyer, I'm a corporate lawyer. I see a lot of businesses come and go, and I understand that you can have a good idea, but until the market is spoken, you have nothing. So, great ideas aside, we started very slowly to get feedback from the market, and this was close to 10 years ago now. Ever since then, all we've done is develop our subscriber base in the UK. Now, you would think it's only the Muslims in the UK, but no. You find Muslims and non-Muslims interested in buying halal products. So in Halal Street, what we did was we created categories. Now, these categories went back directly to what people wanted, not what I thought would be great, and which is a real problem for entrepreneurs, because very often when you don't have market information, you do what you think is best. And like all of us entrepreneurs know, sometimes our most sure thing that we think is going to work falls flat. And we think, you sure that's working and not this? And that's one of the things I wanted to roll into the business. Failure allowed us to grow and learn. And we've had a huge amount of success using this method. Now, we've got halal food products and halal beauty products and sweets and hijabs and children's education. All sorts of these categories came together, but they were only from the EU coming into the UK. There was no Asian products coming in. And one of the reasons was there was the regulations. Prior to Brexit, products, people, capital, and labor can move easily between all the EU countries. So we didn't have a problem bringing products in, and a variety of halal products. Did you know Haribo sweets are made in Turkey? Turkey. That's the only place you can get your halal sweets. Now, if you can go to the second slide. So we formally registered the company in 2014, and we wanted it to be a B2C and B2B. Now, why B2C? B2C was because we could not predict what was going to be sold. We were not a huge UK supermarket, and we wanted to learn from the ground up. And one thing I had on my side was time. So over the last 10 years, we've actually seen what sold and what didn't sell. And very often, as I mentioned earlier, it's not what you think that will sell. Now, recently, we've had a lot of sales in Malaysia for, guess what? Hair dye, halal hair dye. It's a massive market, but who'd have thought of that? I mean, the smart ones among you probably would have, but I have to say I didn't. Halal hair dye was not on my list of hot items, but yet it was selling, it was selling by the box. And the only person more surprised than me was the vendor selling it. I was going, oh my God, I thought a lot of people were bald in the UK. I was going, yeah, it's the weather. A lot of people are bald, but you're not bald, Simon. Yes, I know, but never mind. A lot of people are still buying it. So it was a wonderful product sale. And we've had numerous examples of this. It's always a learning experience. This morning, once I go and look at the numbers, I don't know what's going to be selling. So we spent 6 years just observing and learning about the Muslim market in the UK. And one thing I have to say is that every single Muslim that I've met, at least in the UK, have an extremely high regard. I mean, I'm not saying high, I'm talking about Mount Everest high regard for Malaysia and Malaysian halal. Mount Everest high. They love it. This is what they say to me. Malaysia is a good Muslim country and your halal standard, second to none. Now, did you know that the United Nations has classified Malaysian halal as the highest standard in the world? Yeah, it's something called the Codex Alimentarius. We've got that. And yet, when we walk into a supermarket, Asian supermarket, like Carol, you've been in the UK, you know this. If you walk into an Asian supermarket, whose products do you see? Do you see Malaysian products? No, you see Vietnamese. They're not part of the Commonwealth and they don't speak English as much as we do here. You see Thai products. Again, it's all written in Thai, but it's being sold. You see Singaporean products now. But what struck me was that Malaysian products weren't being sold. We didn't have the in. And the strange thing was, the store was run by a Malaysian. I mean, and I said, why don't you have Malaysian products? And goes, well, it's easy to get stuff in from these other countries, but they're not part of the Commonwealth. Are they halal? Well, So how easy have we made it in Malaysia for people to acquire our products overseas? How easy have we made it for them? Is there a market? Absolutely, yes. Now, just going back to my screen, that's wrong. We're working towards 100,000 UK subscribers, and that's just not the Muslim market, but the non-Muslim market as well. Having said that, take a step back. I said that we were only taking EU products and bringing into the UK. Now, I just want to say there are lots of facts coming up here. And if you want me to repeat it at the end, I'm more than happy to. It's really interesting what you're going to be learning. Now, EU products were easy to bring in, sweets and even hijabs. And one of the tough things to buy, I mean, if anybody wants to be a millionaire here today, this week, perhaps you could think of exporting vitamins, health supplements. Now in winter, as you know, the sun is only up for, how many hours is it, Carol? 5-6 hours in the sky. And 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock, then it goes dark. And our body needs something called vitamin D. And vitamin D, if you're tanned like me, the sun can't get through as much. And with less time in the sun, Your body cannot produce vitamin D, and that makes you sad. If you've heard of winter sadness, that's one of the causes of it. Now, you cannot, for love or money, find health supplements, halal health supplements in the UK, for love or money. You can go to Holland and Barrett's, you can go down to Boots, and you can look, and you can hunt, and you can try, you can go online. But I promise you that distributor will not be there for long, because we had a distributor, and it's a fragmented market in the UK. It comes and goes. So long story short, our EU products, we were all about unifying a fragmented market. That was when it was with the EU. Now, if we go to the next slide, please. Now, here's the sort of the market situation. Anyone you talk to about any market will tell you all the wonderful things about the market, and this is no different. Did you know that the birth rate in the UK for Muslims is 2.6 compared to the non-Muslims, which is 1.6? By 2050, you will have about 15% of the country Muslim. 88% of the population are under the age of 50, as you can see on the screen. I can give you lots and lots and lots of figures. It's a $2.3 dollar market. There's always a difference in how people calculate things, but it's a massive, massive, massive market, global market. The UK market alone is about £4 billion. Now, but what does that mean? What does that all mean? Where's the money? If it's £4 billion, why aren't we able to access it? Why aren't we, this wonderful country that's so respected, getting any traction over there? Difficult, because we're not making ourselves available. We're not telling them who we are. There's not one place we're doing it. And this became my mission. Now, I came back to Malaysia and I met some very nice people at Martrade. Even in London, I met Magat and came back over here, and it was Encik Adwa and Puan Asnor at Martrade, and they became really good friends of mine, very helpful. I have to say this, some of the nicest people I've actually met have come from Martrade, most helpful, because if I send them an email at 6 o'clock in the evening, guess what? By 6:30, I get a comprehensive answer. And that was, for an international business person, that's incredibly useful. So they spoke about getting Malaysia involved in this big market that we have in the UK and the EU. It says, can you help us out? And I said, well, currently I'm just doing the EU, and I don't have a regulatory problem. And they said, could you look into this for us? And I looked into it. And I started to understand what could and couldn't be brought in from Malaysia. And I realized that honey and milk and certain types of seafood all couldn't be brought in. But as a lawyer, I understand that for every rule, there's an exception. And maybe it was luck, maybe it was, I don't know what it was, but I had a vested interest in doing this. And I started looking deeper and deeper into this. And I found ways around most things. So I went up back to Martrade and said, you know what, we're going to do it. I'm going to show you how to get some. It's going to be slow, but we're going to get Malaysian products being sold in the UK. And they said, thanks. They said, great. And then that became the first. But one must understand that taking Malaysian products, we cannot assume the whole world understands what kaya is. For instance, we know it as this beautiful, lovely jam that you have with toast. But to someone else in the UK, if you want to sell Malaysian product, just look at kaya. They look at it this brown, it's sticky. Do I put it in a wall, or do is it savory? What is it? It's got a coconut in the front, but I don't know. So there's that element of awareness and interest. As all of us know, in marketing, you've got awareness, interest, desire, and action. And I found myself at the bottom of the of this hill about introducing Malaysian products. But something fantastic happened. I realized then it's not just about Muslim products. It's not just about halal. It's about Malaysian products as well. You see, whether we like it or not, whenever we look in the mirror every morning, we are exotic people. We are as exotic as the Hawaiians are. I'm sorry, Carol, for the noise. The train is passing by. That's the Gatwick train.
Understand?
Yeah, it's not far. Um, and we are exotic, and this is the way people see us in the UK. But we're really shy. Malaysians are very shy people, whether in business or in we're shy. We think we don't stand up and go, we're Malaysian. So we want to sell awesome Malaysian products like pineapple jam and the whole host of things like sambal. There's not a single person that has eaten rendang. They all think I make it, but I use Brahim's packets that are not absolutely enthralled by it. I'll tell you some of the biggest sellers we have. Look at that. Can you see that? Is that right?
What's that?
That's ikan bilis.
Oh, okay. Did you brought that? Oh, wow, wow.
Oh yeah, no, we stock all these things over here because
Okay.
it's really a big seller. Ikan bilis. If you're ikan bilis seller, get in touch with us. Another one is this.
What coffee is that? Because you got green background, cannot see.
Oh, do I have a green background?
Yeah, your halal one is a green background. What brand
Oh.
of coffee is that?
Wait, I'll just turn off the. It's
Ah,
okay. Is that better?
yes. Show us the coffee. Kopi O.
Now,
Oh,
this is
Hang Tuah.
unique. Yeah, this is unique.
I know this
because-
one.
Ah.
Wow.
This is really because you know why? Nobody drinks coffee in unchang in like tea bags. This is like space food for them. They've never seen this. I know.
Wow. Hey,
Some
and
things
even
we take for
Malaysian,
granted.
yeah?
Yeah,
No Hang Tuah coffee as a kampung coffee.
yeah, it's
Wow.
gorgeous. That's ikan bilis over here. You see, you've got. I've just taken some of the products, guys. Yeah, just to show you what we have. And that, I don't know whether you can see me, better to see the product than me sometimes.
Sambal paste, is it? Ah,
Yeah, all sorts. And we've got, there you go, prawn noodles.
fantastic.
And it carries the Jakim label, which is so
Yeah.
important. People look for it. Even something like this, we show you how to get the nutritional information on the back. We'll show you easy and what's required. Wait, let me get on to the regulations aspect of it. Okay. What else do we have? Very quickly, one more. And we've got hundreds of it. So when I saw the market and I saw the size of it, and we started selling, the first thing I did was the most obvious thing. After 20 years as a lawyer, as Carol knows, I stopped. I put in my resignation. I stopped being a corporate lawyer because this was my opportunity to do something that I really wanted to do. And if it helps the country, all the more reason. This is not a job for me. This is something I really, really want to do. And I think Carol is one of those people that understands this because she's like that. So it became about the money, but it became more about doing business and showing Malaysian businesses what they need to do to get access to the market. And their challenge was not just regulatory. I mean, of course, you've got regulatory requirements, like there's the Food Standards Agency in the UK, and they'll tell you what you need to have on your packages and what you need to state on it. And it's honestly, everything in the UK is administrative. If you understand what needs to be done, it can be done. You can slowly enter the market. The second thing is people don't know Malaysia. I know we know where it is, but a lot of people, a lot of people do not know Malaysia. They know Thailand, they know Singapore, they know Indonesia. They may have heard of Malaysia. Now, in the 90s, everyone knew about Malaysia because of the Twin Towers. But currently, it's an uphill battle. So I've turned it around. We're exotic now. We're really exotic. In the UK, for instance, every Friday, as you know, Carol, we have fish and chips. Fish and chips, it's just traditional. And over the last 5 years, people have begun to eat it with curry sauce, chips and curry sauce. It's all the rage. Why not rendang sauce? Why not take it to that level? So that's on this side. We've got. I'm going to be talking about our promotions here and what we're doing and some of the things we're moving ahead with. But more importantly, let's go back to the regulations. Regulations are difficult. They're very difficult to get around. There's a lot of research and ways to find it. But just remember this: if the Thais and the Thais and the Vietnamese can bring their products in, there's no reason we cannot take our products into the UK, especially being a Commonwealth country. Now, recently there was a free trade agreement between Britain, as you know, we've left the UK, the EU, and they're moving into tying up with free trade deals with other countries individually. And they've started discussion with Malaysia. And one of the things they want to do is export alcohol to Malaysia, but in return take halal food to the UK. So if you've got a halal food business, the time is coming where you should be developing your relationship with ourselves, with MITI, to understand the market. There are 103,000 wholesalers in the UK. You see, we're on the ground. We're interested in that last mile. We're interested in sourcing markets. We've got a B2B section created not because we wanted to, but because the market demanded it. Our B2C started growing. Then we said, oh no, we have to have a B2B now. And our latest challenge is frozen products, to get frozen products into the UK. There is enough people to buy the products, not just among the Muslim market, but the non-Muslim market. And I cannot stress enough that manufacturers should start looking at Europe under the free trade agreement through the UK, sell to the UK first because they're going to make it a lot easier, and then start moving into the EU. Of course, I just read something very quickly about bird's nest down there. Thank you. Next one. These again are the categories that we have, and we've chosen these categories purely because don't bring cookies, don't bring biscuits. Do not bring biscuits. Biscuits are not, it's very hard to compete with English biscuits. But if it's pandan biscuits, we've got screw pine, which is pandan, and it's one of the most incredible flavors. People don't know what it is. Some say it's some kind of vanilla. Some say it's, oh my God, what is this? It's green and it's so lovely. Pandan is the secret weapon for Malaysia. We're coming up with a pandan recipe book very shortly, and that's going to be one of our main pushes. So we're developing our B2C market where you can test your market for very low costs. That's one of the things we want to do. Once you start developing a bit of attraction, like the hair product person, we can introduce you to the wholesalers who'll buy it. Because otherwise, what's the point of selling your product to a wholesaler if nobody understands what a Malaysian product is? I don't want to be the bearer of, to be a wet blanket about this, but you've got to be practical in business. If people don't know your country and where it's from and what it does, they're not going to buy your product, no matter how cheap it is. Of course, you can make it really cheap, but where's the money in that? You got to slowly enter the market with a reliable name, access their subscriber base, create a bit of a name for yourself, have your competitions, and then start moving in wholesale. When you go to a wholesaler, you've got evidence that your product sells, and that puts you in a better negotiating position. But it's got to start somewhere. It's really got to start somewhere. We've got great plans. We've got, now let me talk about our A&P. Could we move to the next slide, please, Carol? Pineapple. I just want to talk about pineapples. Yeah. So a Malaysian pineapple is just a pineapple. But if someone tells me, Simon, you're not holding just a pineapple, it's a Hawaiian pineapple, I'll go, whoa. The same thing for Malaysian food. You got to respect the fact that it comes from overseas. If someone says, Simon, it's just this from this country, it's just this product, I'll go, yeah. Oh, it's Malaysian, Oh, people love the story behind it. Malaysians aren't selling the story. Where's the story? Where's the story about the guy who set up a homestay business and then created a business to pay for his staff because he couldn't run his homestay business during COVID? There are lots of stories out there. So we need to sell stories to the world about our products, not just the products. I mean, China may be a different market altogether, but if you go into the European market, it's very different. They want to know a little bit about who, what it is about the product. So that's the pineapple example I usually use. If we could go to the next slide, please. And just to recap, there is a massive market, but it's not just a market, it's a growing market. It is an incredible, fast growing market. And you've got a balance, a breakdown of Pakistanis, Bangladeshis, and other Muslims in the UK. So if you are coming into the Malaysian market, we'll advise you on all this. We'll tell you how to package it, what you need to do, and incredibly, it's all about helping. We just want to help Malaysian manufacturers. We want to, even if we don't get the business, we want to help you, show you what you need to be doing, and you really don't lose anything by joining us. Show you what the other people have been doing in order to be able to get into the market. It's about help. All we're interested in is help. We're not interested in creating structures and organizations and you come into this category and that no. We want to listen to you and we want to help you. Okay, what's the next one? What's the next slide, please? How much time do I have left, Carol?
Doesn't matter, Simon, go ahead. No worries.
Okay, so if we could go to the next slide, please. Yeah, these are some of the areas in F&B, and if you're trying to sell cosmetics, let's say you've got something like cosmetics you want to sell in the EU. These were the EU regulations, which was part of the UK, and it's still very similar. You'll need to create some notification. You'll need to appoint a responsible person. There are key labeling requirements. The UK is about information being provided. You need to provide information, and people get slowed down or they get hooked in with large organizations that charge the world. You don't need to. There's a way that all our vendors are selling, and we've got about 700 vendors with us right now, and they're selling every single day. To the point that we need to bring stock over to make it easier to deliver these products to them. Yep. If we can go to the next one, please. Basically, it's very simple. These are the things that usually vendors look for us, and that they had a little poll at the beginning of this show. That's important. I just want to find out from whether it's still consistent, what kind of information is needed. We advise you on the import regulations. We tell you what prohibited items are, so you don't have to trawl through UK law. If you're selling cosmetics, it's separate product regulation. There needs to be notification. Consumer rights in the UK, there's a 15-day period where you don't have to give a reason. You can get a refund. You don't need to give a reason. 15 days, come back and say, I'm sorry, I want a refund. I did not mean to buy that Ferrari. And and they have to take it back. Now, the funny thing in Malaysia is, I remember paying for something in Old Town where I live in PJ, and I gave the lady the money, and she held the money, and I didn't release the money, and I said, I changed my mind, and she goes, no, you've given me the money. That's it, done. You've bought this, and I smiled, and I was thinking, it's a completely different what you call refund policy that you have in the UK, and you've got to respect it because that's the law. Ingredient restrictions. This is really important. All sorts of allergens that you've got to tick. You've got to meet the requirements. It doesn't mean you can't sell. You can sell, but you've got to meet the requirements, and people have to know about your product. Of course, you can't make medical claims when it comes to birds' nests. No, you've got to be a bit cautious about areas like that. And also, there's the cultural requirements of the UK. There was one vendor that gave us a product about lipstick, and it said, I think the tagline in Malay was "attract your man." Now you can't sell that in that form in the UK. You can't say attract your man because the sexism and all sorts of things. So it's got to be, you wear lipstick for yourself, to make you look good. It's a whole cultural thing on its own. Shipping and handling, very critical. Last mile. I think a lot of people can find a buyer, but then the logistics becomes a problem. How do we get it across? Who's going to help us? Can they help us? A lot of people come to us and say, we've got a buyer. Can you just become our logistics company? No, we can't. It's a whole package. And then we give you some advice on VAT and tax compliance and whatnot. Now, this is advice. This is not professional advice, because we're not in the capacity to do it. This is e-commerce advice because we want to help as much as possible. If you want to go further and get some legal advice out there, absolutely brilliant. We completely understand, but we can give you an overview as to what to expect at least. Okay, next one. Next slide, please, Carol. Yeah, this year we were hoping to have a fair in London, a summer fair, a halal summer fair, and I'm not taking the chance with COVID. I'm waiting for COVID to become just like the normal flu. On the COVID aspect, the UK 2 weeks ago had 40,000 cases. 2 weeks ago, 40,000 cases, 46,000 actually, the peak of it. And 2 weeks later, we only had, I think, 100 deaths. So about 60% of the population, no, more than that. I think about 70% of the population is already vaccinated. So it does help to vaccinate. There's a little public health announcement here. So once that settles, we're going to be doing that. The other one is the souk in England. One of our great plans is to actually build a place where people can come and shop for their groceries, shop for do some clothes shopping, all in England, and have coffee, a pharmacy, maybe even a little clinic, but everything's halal. That's our goal. We have the land identified, and it's our mountain peak that we're working towards, and we'll get there. Everything is very regulated within Halal Street. So basically, we can go back to the last slide actually. Basically, I could go on for ages talking about different aspects of it, but most people are interested in the regulation. Is there a market? What do we need to do to access that market? And for the regulations, you need to sit down with us and tell us what your products are first before we advise you. And if it's whether there's a market, again, you've got to start small. You can't ship half a pallet over there just because a warehouse person is taking it on consignment and expect for the product to be sold. It's the competition is extremely high. So basically that's what we do.
Thank you, Simon. And right now, I would like to wait. Let me view.
Just get a little coffee.
Please take this so that I can unshare the screen now. So that I can. Let me stop sharing first. Thank you. I see so many people chatting on the chat, but not putting the questions on the Q&A. Amazing products that you showed just now. It light up the chat of the people asking about those products. So good progress.
Show and tell.
Very good progress, Simon. Very, very proud of how you sacrificed so much of being a corporate lawyer and then build the passion to help our SME to go into this market. This market is really huge. I can't find Malaysia product, but I can find going to a Chinese store and to find Chinese goods, mushrooms and all this. These are all from Hong Kong, surely from Hong Kong. Very rarely we can get anything from Malaysia. Everyone, I will bring in Rizwan and for the Q&A. Please post the Q&A onto the Q&A, because if not, Rizwan cannot track. And I also would like to encourage that halalstreet.co.uk is participating in the ASEAN Online Day Sale, which is happening this coming Sunday on the 8th, 9th, and 10th. There are more than 50 marketplaces joining. Later, I'll put in the ASEAN Online homepage for you all to browse and have a look. And I wish Halal Street all the best. Rizwan, the floor is yours now. I'm going to pin you for you all to take on the Q&A.
Okay, thank you, Simon. Wow, it's amazing. I think based on the poll, also we can see that there's still a lot of question on how they can bring their product in UK. I'm surprised this time around people are not so concerned about the funding. Normally it was the funding that is high and the rest is low. Yeah, so they do, when they are already looking at investing, exporting to UK, they already come prepared. But I think the others are what are still puzzled, right? So I think your presentation itself was marvelous. Most of them are sold. We were surprised with the chat in your response. However, now it comes to the next question. Now, a lot of people have been already introducing themselves like, I have this product now. next bonus question. How can they do that? How can they bring their product to you?
Well, they've got to get on a plane and come down to you. No, I'm kidding. We have an office in Kuala Lumpur, which is in Bangsa South, where if it's allowed to travel now, I don't know whether you can travel, but if you're not, you can call them, and they can generally advise you. And
Simon, we have 20K. We have 20K cases yesterday.
Oh my goodness. Nobody's moving anywhere. Okay.
Yeah. Why don't you share the number so people can start calling?
Yeah, the numbers. Hairul, what's the number?
Hairul, are you there?
Hairul's got the
Hairul,
number.
can you type any numbers that they can reach out to, Hairul, on the chat room? Yeah.
Yeah, I use WhatsApp all the time. I've forgotten the numbers, but Hairul is the number. Yeah. And on that funding point of view, one of the reasons I didn't speak about funding, because we work very closely with Alliance Bank and Maybank, and they're really keen to go out of their way to help a lot of vendors. But saying this help, and on the other side of the river, and they're on this side, 90% of the vendors need somebody to listen to them and help them, because all the signboards are there saying we can help you, we can help you, we can help you, but nobody's listening to them. We need to listen to what they need, because they may know a lot already. They just need a few questions covered. Is this really going to be useful to me? Or I don't know what the questions can be, from interest rates to how can we do this? So offering the help is one thing, but listening to what your vendors want, and which is why I thought that the poll was very good, Carol. Very, very good.
So basically, they can have all the money in the world. They can be the king of, the Sultan of Arab also. But if they cannot bring their product to UK, no point.
Well, on that point, Rizwan, you're triggering my memory here. On that point, do you know who buys from us in Halal Street? Which royal family? The Brunei royal family purchases stacks of products from us.
Wow.
They have a palace in London, and they order from us all the time.
Yeah.
Everything from makeup to surrounding. I can't say more than that, but we sell to royal families here now. So and can you imagine us telling our vendors in Malaysia, by the way, the Bolkias would like your surrounding. They got crazy. They went crazy. And then they're trying to pack more. I said, you can't do that. That's and here's the other thing. In order for us to be able to share the products with, to take Malaysian products, because remember, first I was just doing the EU, to take Malaysian products over there, we needed to make logistics affordable. And guess what? We've done it. Out of our own pocket, we pay 50%. And I'm not trying to big this up, but anyway, there's a 50% discount on logistic costs, and we don't mark it up. We found the cheapest in town and the most reliable. Cheapest doesn't mean reliable. And your product gets from Malaysia to the UK in 4 days. Well, that was the quickest. Five days, about right. Can you believe that? And it would cost you, I think, about £5 to £10. Even doing a courier within the UK costs you £7.99 within the UK. So there's no reason we cannot do this. And we've got lots of success stories on that side of it. One thing I just wanted to mention before I forget, Rizwan, if you don't mind, is that every single day during this PKP period, I'm not sure if you're still in PKP, but during this period, we have at 5 o'clock in the evening, every single day except Sunday, it's a really nice gentleman. He's an Englishman, and he came to Malaysia. Oh, guess what? He came to Thailand, and they said, just go across the border. He said, is there a country there? He didn't know. He really didn't know. And they said, Malaysia. He said, oh, is it part of Thailand? He says, no, it's a different country. He came over here. He fell in love with the place. He married a girl, and he's got 2 wonderful children. Speaks absolutely blisteringly perfect Terengganu accent Malay. I mean, that's the amazing thing. So much so that when he called his grandfather back in England to talk to the grandfather didn't recognize his voice. I thought it was the insurance guy, I think. So Madan comes on every evening at 5 o'clock, and he talks to vendors, and we hear their stories. Hairul and Madan, to be fair, and we listen to we give them an opportunity to sell even in Malaysia. Although Halal Street does not sell in Malaysia, we don't sell in Malaysia. We give vendors an opportunity to sell, to talk about their products, to show what they're doing to other vendors. And we love the stories. We love the stories, and that's what we do it for. We do it for the stories. Malaysia has wonderful, wonderful stories. I could go on about the stories, but I'll tell you one. There's a guy in Malacca. He's running a homestay, like I mentioned earlier, and in the homestay he couldn't make any business because nobody was coming to it. So he refused to fire. He refused to fire his staff. He's such a soft-spoken man, such a soft-spoken young man. He created a product and he started selling that product just to pay the staff salaries. I mean, we got lots of heroes during this COVID period, and I know I'm uncovering a lot of them. Like I said, we personalize our approach to each vendor as much as we can. Everyone needs something different. Okay.
Okay, Simon, thank you. It breaks my heart to cut your story short, because apparently today is something unique, you know, because normally people start asking questions straight away, and then the Q&A box will start to pile up. But in your case, they actually start piling up after you finish talking. Yes, and guys, you can ask about HIP as well. Our friend is still here. Hafiz is still here to answer any of your question. Please bear in mind, if your product is not ready for UK, you go to HDC first to get your product ready, and then you can actually bring your product to our UK. Right, now let's go to the burning question. Right. I know some of you are asking in the chat, so I won't be will be asking any of the question, because I want you to move that to Q&A. I'm being a bit tough like Carol now. You want me to ask your question? You might better put on Q&A. All right. Enough of that. Let's go to the question. This question is asked by Kian Segma. So the question goes: do you have a green channel courier that can help Malaysian food product to UK? Is there a green channel? Yeah.
No, there's no green channel currently. There may be coming up soon, but until then, it's best to find out, to see whether you have a market first. My advice would be to join us or join whichever platform. Try and sell some of your products to see that there is market for your products, because you might need to make some changes to it. And if there is, at a very low cost, discover your market potential, and then we can find a way through different countries to get your product into the UK. Or you might have to make changes, or you will find a new market. There's a lot of potential. So I know of companies that have done it.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Can I can read it. I've got it on my screen here.
But
I'm going to save your time.
Okay.
Before
that,
Yeah.
Simon,
Sure.
you mentioned just now that before you start all this, that Malaysian cannot ship a dairy product, cannot ship fish ingredient. So what's changed?
Nothing's changed.
What has changed? Is it still the same?
It is absolutely the same. The Malaysian government really has to, pull its finger out and start getting our fisheries recognized. But if you want to do smaller quantities, you can bring it in, provided you've got a market, which is why we are looking at the B2C market, and we have our thousands of subscribers currently. So, and if you do find you get locked in at that particular point, there is a way to use different countries to use their services to bring the products in. But I'm not trying to be legal here. I'm just saying that there's always a way to do something if you really look hard enough. And again, Vietnam, Thailand, everything, just covered with them.
And guys, remember, the owner of this platform is lawyer. Don't try anything fishy.
Was.
Was a liar. So don't try anything fishy. They will know. Okay. Before we go to all the questions, if you look at the questions, right, there's a trend of questions. A lot of them are asking about their particular product, whether it can be or not. And I'm interested with a comment by hairul.hafizi, where you guys are having a daily show every day at 5 that they can go to. Maybe they can direct that question. So it's a little bit personal, like, we can't really answer every type of product, because UK is very, very big. The market itself. It took Simon how many years to understand UK?
Oh geez, I'm still doing it. It's been 10 years now. I'm still doing it. Yeah.
So I don't think this webinar, this pocket talk will be enough if we are to answer each product. So my suggestion is keep in touch with them. You can ask them as many questions as you want, but bear in mind, the more you ask, they might charge it by hour. So keep your question short. All right. Okay. Simon,
you can choose.
Yeah, you can choose.
Let's try and hit them one by one. Tropical fruit juice. Yeah, you can. Absolutely can. Organic sells, is a big thing for us in the UK. It's got to be organic. You got to highlight the fact that it's Malaysian. Malaysia is the thing to sell. Nobody thinks of it, but it is actually the thing to sell. It's not nasi lemak. It's Malaysian nasi lemak. So keep in mind that when you're trying to export the products. Fruit juice.
How about regulatory requirements?
Depending on what you're selling, like cosmetics, it's different. Food, it's different. Ready-made food, it's different. Barang mentah is different.
Right.
There's a whole host of. I don't think we've got time to cover it.
Correct.
Next one is a bit of problems logistically.
Okay, let's go with the generic ones, right?
I can sort of hit them very quickly.
Okay.
To Oliver's question about logistically cheap enough, we have spent a few years now finding the right company, so we can, if you work with us, we can help you with that. Market apparel, wholesale, kurta, very, very competitive, extremely competitive market for that. We don't go into clothing as such, only one size clothing, purely because of the Consumer Rights Act, which allow refunds, and people always buy 2-3 sizes and send it back. Huge cost involved there. Can I see you deal with manufacturers? How about FMCG traders? Do you deal with traders as well? Yeah, absolutely. We deal with distributors and traders. Small or big. In fact, sometimes small is good to discover the market. It's sort of like a test market at almost no cost to you. Regulation for health food in the UK. It's not one regulation, it's multiple regulations. But if you go down to the Food Standards Agency, you'll get an idea of what you need to find. Is syrup, jam, dry flour suitable in terms of logistic regulation? You must be careful. If you're trying to sell strawberry jam to the UK, it's not going to happen. I don't want to waste anyone's time. But if you're trying to sell something like kaya,
durian jam,
yeah, it's got to be. You got to think about it, guys. It's got to be unique. For instance, we create a lot of. Do you know we have a type of coffee here that we don't have anywhere else in the world?
What is that?
So
what coffee?
The two beans that we have here is what's it called? Robusta and
Arabica.
Yeah, in Malaysia we have Liberica. Liberica. Do we have it here? Yeah, Liberica. I'm quite sure I saw it on one of the. Anyway, Liberica. So we've got to look at our products in terms of a globalized, with a globalized perspective, and be proud that we're selling Malaysia. So we're really keen on selling Malaysia as much as selling the food. Yeah, ITP Foods currently have 3 series products. Penang, 12 new SKU. We're facing UK food regulations stopped us to export. Yep, absolutely. Do you know if there's going to be a market there? And if you know there's going to be a market there, that's fine. If a supermarket wants to purchase your products, they will assist you. Otherwise, there are things you can do for it. You can.
Good question, Anderson.
Yeah. And listen, what you're facing is being faced by every single person, and it's a very good, like Carol said, it's a very good question. There are various ways to get your products there, just like the Vietnamese have done.
Are you able to provide like a guidance for Anderson for this kind of situation, Simon?
We would want to see if his products can actually sell first on a B2C level.
Okay.
And we'll help him advertise it to
Okay.
our subscribers. Once he gets a bit of traction, then we can introduce him to a wholesaler, and the
Very good.
wholesaler will say which country he prefers to come in through. So
Thank you. Well done. Next one. What's this?
we use a few. And it's personalized relationships. But if you work through us, there are lots of we're not selling our logistic company here. So I hope you can understand. Screening process prior to listing on how. Screening process basically uses the Matrix ERAT export readiness template, but we also have certain recommendations for countries, for products, for companies that want to export their products. They've got to meet certain requirements and have certain information on their products, depending on the product. Again, of course, we have turned away a lot of products. Liquid products, big bottles of juice and all, is more the B2B market. But we have very expensive bottles of health supplement drinks that we do carry. It makes sense from a finance perspective.
Okay, before we go back to the question, I have a question actually for Hafiz. If we have a local market who interested in exporting to UK, right, want to sell their product in UK, but they don't have a halal certification, how can HDC help in that sense?
Okay, obviously, we will definitely get them to get the halal certificate first, because we don't want to be misleading the consumer, selling things that don't have the certificates, and then we sort of say, oh, this is halal product. So that is actually the first thing that we will do. But on the other hand, I think when we talk about the halal certificate itself, it is actually a gateway to not just the UK market, but to the other market as well. So that's the reason why we encourage, or in HIP, we want all these so-called, we call it like a deemed halal, meaning to say, is a halal product that don't have halal certificate yet, to get a certification before you go out to other countries. Because like Mr. Simon said, that the halal certificate, Malaysian halal certificate, actually has a higher standard. So might as well, leverage on that.
So do they have to pay to join HIP?
No, they don't have to pay. They can register. Just for your information, looking at the question that been posted, I can see that few of our members is interested to go joining Halal Street UK. But no worries, we will obviously assist on that for sure. Because like I mentioned that we are planning to work with Halal Street UK. Of course, we want to leverage on Mr. Simon's intel, all the knowledge that he has with regards to the trading to UKs and whatnot. Because in HDC, yes, we do have data on other countries, but of course, when you are there, then you have the knowledge on the ground, and you know what can be sell. I mean, what are the things that sellable? What are the things that might not work? So, my advice here to those people who want to go to UK, please leverage on our Mr. Simon's knowledge on the market itself, and see whether your product is sellable over there or not.
Right. Okay. Okay. Right. Well, what can they, Mr. Simon? Question for you. I'm rephrasing what anonymous attendees is asking. What can they expect when they are trying to market their product in UK? What is the turnover like?
I think the question was generally what was our turnover. We release our numbers only every quarter or so, but I think we've seen and most e-commerce platforms are always reasonably vague about these things because there's an up and down. But Ramadan
that's why I rephrase. That's why I rephrase instead of UK.
You're very polite. You're very polite. But I'm happy to talk to it. Maybe about 1 year ago, I would have definitely given you a different answer. But over the Ramadan period, we sold hundreds of new products In fact, one person on the first day they put it on this was only one person, but the minute they put it on, they got a sale. And we saw an incredible rush for Malaysian products. And after Ramadan, of course, it has dipped. But this is why we are going on an A&P assault. We're using things like the Islam channel. We're using various A&P methods that work in the UK, because you can't sell on Instagram in the UK. No, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So the other methods. One of the other methods we're doing is called like a pasapagi. We have pasapagis every town, every single town is a pasapagi. And Carol will know this. Where were you staying, Carol, again?
NW, northwest of London.
Oh, okay, northwest. Right. You would have absolutely had a market around the corner from where you lived.
Yes.
So we are in all the little towns where, and there are lots of Malaysians. I've created a support group of Malaysians within the Berkshire area itself. We will man a little pasapagi stalls with variety of this wonderful coffee. So people can come, try, taste, understand, talk. You personalize the entire experience. Why did Thai food take off? Because of restaurants.
Yeah.
So we're trying to do the same thing on a pasapagi method, where they can try lots of different things. We can develop a relationship with people. We can reintroduce Malaysia into the world. One of the things that I think personally that Malaysia has been struggling with is we always assume that everybody thinks the world of us, but actually there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of work to be done to get us to that point where we recognize, even when you hold a packet, let's say you hold a packet of anything you buy in Malaysia and it's a country like Moldova, would you think twice? You would think twice, because you don't know where Moldova is. At least I don't know. And to all those who have been to Moldova, I offer my apologies, but I would look at it and I think, Moldova. Then I'll see something else and it says France or whatever, Belgium, and I'll take that. I will pick that up. So Malaysia, we got to look at ourselves the way others see us currently. We can get wrapped up with how awesome we are. Yeah, we are in Asia, but to the rest of the world, we really need to amp up our who we are, which is why the pasapagi concept is really important. So we've got lots of different things planned out, and you know what, realistically guys, some of them will fail, some of them will work, but the only thing that we're doing is making sure we push ahead. I'll tell you a funny story. I was in Martrade a few months ago, and I was talking to one of the trade commissioners, and the trade commissioner told me about this Chinese gentleman, Dato. We'll call him Chan. I'm very bad with names. I can remember Carol's name. That's it. So Dato Chan, let's say, was doing a food show. This is European food show, and everybody knows him as the best. He makes the best special hamburgers. Absolutely the best. So the trade commissioner went over and he asked for the Dato, and everyone said, "Oh yeah, he's over there. He's over there." It was a very famous food show in Germany. Anyway, and the Dato took it, and it's just a slice of bread. There's no bun. Eh? Can you imagine a burger with no bun? Slice of bread. Of course, it's very good meat and a very good burger. He put the burger on top of the bread, and he gave it to him, and he poured his special sauce on it. Special sauce. Now you all are going to say, what is the special sauce?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you the special sauce is Lingam's chili sauce.
Oh my goodness!
Now, people love his special sauce. They love it. No, it wasn't the Anuga Fair. It was another one. Starts with H. I forget the name. But Lingam's chili sauce. And then I wanted to test and see whether Lingam's chili sauce can be found in my tiny village. I live in a tiny village. And I went to the supermarket, and guess what?
What?
Lingam's chili sauce. next to the, what is the Thai one called? Sriracha. Everything is sriracha. Why is sriracha even a word in English? It is not meant to be a word. Why? Why do I know sriracha in England? It should be, hollandaise or whatever it is. But no, sriracha, please. Doesn't make sense. Now, even worse, they take all the syllables and join them together. The Korean food. Bok, nik, pak, bok, pak, bok. It's now becoming common in England for people to speak like aliens. I would like a Korean food is becoming important. Hairul has introduced me to a lot of Korean food. I get very upset with him. Because he should be eating Malaysian food. But there's something serious in what I'm saying also. You look at all these countries and how they're pushing their food forward, which is why I think HDC has got a really, really important role to play in this entire approach. Bringing things together is absolutely one way forward. But on the other side, listening to your Intel partners, I like that word, your unofficial ambassadors on the other side, to feedback what's actually happening. Yeah, K-pop, absolutely. It is K-pop, and I'm not going to start M-pop here unless HTC wants to fund some M-pop festival, and then we can join you in Halal Street, But you go back to your bosses. You said Carol organized this Pocket Talk show. One of the ideas that came up was this M-pop festival. They will stop you doing any more shows. Anyway, guys.
Because I'm a very visual person. So the moment you mention M-pop, I'm imagining Carol was like dancing.
But you never know. You never know. It could work.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Oh, that's the last of our questions. Because the Halal Street UK, halalstreet.co.uk guys are going to get prepared for their Instagram show later at 5 with Mat Dan. Mat Dan is brilliant. Orang putih, cakap bahasa apa? Terengganu, is it?
Logat Terengganu.
Logat Terengganu. It's a very interesting. So please take down Hairul's number. Hairul's number was at the chat. Yes. And next week we have
Karen, I think there's a request for Encik Hafiz number also.
Encik Hafiz, Encik Hafiz. Janganlah, nanti you spam his number. Up to you, Hafiz. Up to you.
Contact HCD contact person that they can go to because they want to know about more about HIP lah, and they can't wait until the launching.
Oh, Zatil is here. So next week we have an updates on how you can enhance your Shopify, but the following week will be interesting. This one will help people to export, will help halalstreet.co.uk as well. MDG grant, the Martrade Development Grant, for people who use a platform such as halalstreet.co.uk to export. You can claim either on IP trademarks and also your shipping cost to go into export. So we know of a lot of our exporters already claim under that, and hopefully that you as a company register as Martrade exporters to be eligible for this. Okay, Go-eCommerce claim about 2,400 ringgit, something like that, to ship his pillows to go into Australia. So he managed to claim that. Per company can claim up to 300k. So that will be a very good boost for qualified Malaysian companies to get that kind of grant. Of course, you pay first lah, then you claim lah. Okay, all right, and that's it. Rizwan, you want to have sponsored before I give a last words for Hafiz and also for Simon.
Yep. Okay, guys. Thank you for being with us for the past 1 hour. Right. So if you like this kind of webinar, you be sure to catch us again. I think we have another round next week. 3 o'clock, same time, same day, different day. Right. But aside from that, you can actually get a lot of the latest information on e-commerce. You can, if you look at the chat, there's a lot of advertisements as this that I post. There's a lot of channel that you can go to. We have a close FB groups. We have a TikTok channel that is approved by yours truly. So there's a lot of personal connection that you can get there, to get more insights on your product, get more updates. There's a lot of platforms there. I think Simon also is in that group. Mr. Hafiz also is in that group. So you can actually go there, gain more knowledge. And if you like how Carrot talk, she did a lot of talking inside there. So you can actually watch. And if you think that TikTok is not a group for you, you can actually find a lot of information on Carol's YouTube channel. So when you go there, have a look and click like and click subscribe so Carol can actually get more happy when talking. Then she will talk more. It's like the new TikTok, right? The more love you press, the more Carol will talk like that.
Thank you, Rizwan.
Yeah. And last but not least, currently Malaysia are having our Belanjawan 2021. So there's a lot of offerings done by our e-wallet, our marketplace. You can actually have a look on our MDEC website. And then, yeah, that's about it. Carol, back to you.
Okay, last words from Hafiz from the HGC.
Right. I guess just a word of advice, just a bit of sharing. Yes, I understand that our SMEs and business are eager to expand their product outside there, but you need to remember that when you want to go outside there, there's like this whole new thing out there. And one of the things that you need to remember, like what Simon mentioned, is that once you want to bring your product outside of Malaysia, then your product is practically new to that country. So you need to remember that you need to invest on the A&P. That is the most important part lah. And on the other hand, I think in terms of Malaysian market, you can always work with us, and of course we will assist you in terms of if you want to venture into any other market as well, we can do that through HIP. Hopefully, we can connect all the dots, and hopefully, we can also leverage on programs like the logistics and like what MDEC is doing. Logistics, the grants on logistics, and then the programs from other government agencies, so that you can get bit on end pieces here and there lah. At the end of the day, the idea is that we want to help you, or you want to give you the opportunity or whatever government offering to you guys, so that you can always grow your business, not necessarily in UK, but anywhere else, that any market that you guys think you can grow lah.
Thank you, Hafiz. Simon, what do you have to say?
I think I've said too much, but I just want to say thank you all for being a wonderful audience. Thank you very much, Carol and Rizwan. I think you guys are absolutely brilliant. I love the energy. And Hafiz, I reiterate what you say as well. Businesses need to be realistic about how they approach it, but they cannot also be too gung-ho or too afraid. You got to look at, you got to take advice, a little bit of advice from those around you that have intel on those markets. And you will be able to enter those markets, and it'll be fantastic. It's the beginning of a wonderful road. So we're here to help at Halal Street. That's really all I have to say.
Thank you. I post the next week, the two last week of Fridays on Pocket Talk. I haven't prepared. And thank you, Simon, for waking up early for us, for being at the other side of the world. We look forward for you to come back. Hairul, thank you for answering some of the questions on the Q&A. Thank you for everyone. There were 79 of us just now until some people have to leave. It's a Friday. I understand. Hafiz, thank you again for sharing HIP. Rizwan, thank you for the Q&A session. And I bid you all the best in exploring with halalstreet.co.uk. It's the only marketplace that goes into UK that is built by a Malaysian who's passionate in helping you. Okay, I am passionate in helping SMEs to go everywhere, and it's a privilege for us in MDEC to learn about on this platform 4 years ago that we knew about this platform, and we brought them in to become into my trade partners and all. So with this, I would like to say thank you, everybody.
Carol.
Yes.
By the way, if any of you wondering, Carol's background is not a background.
It's real.
Awesome.
Real. Celia offered the place, but she's not here today. She gonna get her jab, so she's not feeling well, got allergy. But thank you to all the 60+ partners, and also taking care of the took part in the poll. And that's it. Thank you. So all the best to halalstreet.co.uk, and all the best to HIP for your launch. Okay, take care, guys. Bye. I'm gonna stop recording.
Bye.
Take care.